I had a buyer that thought their VA loan benefit was gone forever, not because they didn't serve, not because they didn't qualify, because they had already used it once and nobody ever told them any different. Here's the truth. There's one thing about your VA loan that can completely change your wealth building strategy. And most military families don't find out until they've already left massive benefits on the table. If you're PCSing to Virginia Beach in 2026, the next few minutes could save you thousands and open doors you didn't even know existed. Keep watching. Hey everyone, welcome back. I'm Megan Linker. I'm a military wife, a mom, and I've been helping families relocate to Virginia Beach and Hampton Roads for over 35 years. Here's the philosophy that I live by. Real estate should be built on trust, transparency, and the full picture. I make it my job to tell you the things most agents skip over. Today is one of those conversations. We're talking about your VA loan entitlement and why a simple misunderstanding has quietly become one of the biggest threats to your buying power in this market. At the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to use your VA loan again, how partial entitlement works, the truth about the VA funding fee on second uses, and the scenario most veterans never hear when you're actually holding two VA loans at the exact same time. Let's get into it. The one-time use myth. Here's the reality no one covers at the briefing. A lot of veterans treat their VA loan like a one-time coupon. Use it once and that's it. It's gone. But your VA entitlement doesn't disappear when you buy a home. You can restore it, reuse it, and in some cases, stack it. Think of entitlement as a pool of money the VA uses to guarantee your loan. When you buy a home with a VA loan, some of that entitlement gets tied up in the property. Sell the home, pay off the loan, and your entitlement is fully restored. You can use your VA loan again, as if you're a first-time buyer all over again. But what if you want to keep the house? Maybe you're planning to come back to the area. Maybe you want the rental income. Maybe you just want to hold the asset and keep building equity. That's where most of the conversation stops and where I want to keep it going. Partial entitlement and stacking loans. What I just described is the clean slate scenario, but the more powerful and more misunderstood scenario is this. You can use your VA loan again, even if you still own a home with a VA mortgage, as long as you have the entitlement left. This is called partial entitlement. Here's how it works. Part of your entitlement is tied to the first property, but the unused portion can be applied to a second home purchase. That second purchase does need to be your primary residence, but in a market like Hampton Roads, home prices across Virginia Beach, Chesapeake, Suffolk, and Portsmouth frequently fall within ranges where this is completely workable. And here's the part that surprises almost everyone. Under the right conditions, you can actually have two VA loans at the same time. The VA allows this when you're relocating due to a PCS or qualifying life change. You have enough remaining entitlement to guarantee the second loan. Think about what that means for an active duty family moving through Hampton Roads. You keep your first property as a rental. You purchase your next primary residence with zero down, no PMI, full VA loan benefits. This is a genuine wealth building move, and most veterans never know it's available to them. A real family, a real example. Let me make this concrete with a family I worked with right here in Virginia Beach. Marcus and Danielle, PCS here from Jacksonville, North Carolina. Marcus is reporting to Naval Station Norfolk. They had purchased a home at their last duty station using their VA loan, and they loved the neighborhood. Good schools, great neighbors, and they generally hoped to return someday. So the question they came to me with was, do we sell or do we keep it? Most agents would have told them to sell, take the proceeds, and start fresh, clean and simple. But when we sat down with my VA lender and pulled their certificate of eligibility, they had enough remaining entitlement to purchase a second home here in Virginia Beach without selling the first one. They kept the Jacksonville property. They put a tenant in place, a military family, ironically, who needed a rental near Camp Lejeune. That rental income now covers most of their mortgage in North Carolina. And here in Virginia Beach, they purchased a home in the Kempsville area. Zero down, VA loan, no PMI. Two property, two VA loan. One family who almost sold because they didn't know they had options. That's what understanding your entitlement actually looks like in real life. The funding fee, what you need to know. Now, I want to be upfront about something because transparency is everything. When you use your VA loan a second time, the VA funding fee increases. Here's a quick breakdown. On your first use with zero down, the funding fee is typically around 2.15% of the loan amount. On the next use, that jumps to around 3.3%. So on a $400,000 home, that's the difference between roughly $8,600 and $13,200. But here's the context that matters. First, the funding fee can be rolled directly into your loan. You don't have to bring it to the table at close. Second, you're still buying with zero down, no PMI, and a competitive interest rate. Compared to a conventional loan where you'd need 10 to 20% down on a second property, the math still overwhelmingly favors the VA loan in most scenarios. Third, some veterans are exempt from the funding fee entirely. If you have a service-connected disability rating, you may pay nothing. Talk to your lender about your specific situation before you assume anything either way. The funding fee is real, it's worth knowing, but it's rarely the reason not to use your benefit again. How to figure out what you have left. So the natural next question, how do you actually know what entitlement you have remaining? This is where the Certificate of Eligibility, or COE, comes in. Your COE is the document that tells a lender exactly how much entitlement you've used and how much is still available. You don't need to figure this out yourself. A VA experienced lender can pull it for you instantly through the VA's automated system. You can also access it yourself through the va.gov or e-benefits if you want to look at it before you ever talk to a lender. Here's the bottom line. You might have significantly more remaining entitlement than you think. And if you run the numbers and come up short, there are still workarounds. Sometimes it simply means a small down payment on the second purchase instead of zero down. But that is a far cry from losing access to the benefit entirely. There's one more scenario I want to cover because it surprises almost every veteran I share it with. The VA gives you a one-time option to restore your entitlement without selling the home, but only if you have a loan that has been fully paid off. This is a strategic move some veterans use when they want to convert a property to a rental while freeing up their VA benefit for a new purchase. Just know it is one time only. After that, a sale is required to restore entitlement again. Why Virginia Beach is the right market for this. Virginia Beach and Hampton Roads are genuinely one of the best places in the country to apply these strategies. We have major installations anchoring this market. Naval Station Norfolk, NAS Oceana, JEB Little Creek, Dam Neck, and more. Thousands of service members rotate through this area every single year. That creates something powerful. Military demand here doesn't pause because rates are high or the economy shifts. And rent to price ratios across Hampton Roads makes holding properties as rentals a realistic strategy, not just a theory. If you're PCSing into this area, you're in one of the strongest positions in the country to use your VA loan more than once. Here's the house hack. Before I get into your action steps, here's one more move worth knowing. A veteran can purchase a multifamily property up to 4 units using their VA loan, as long as they live in one unit as their primary residence. Fill the other units with renters. Your tenants help cover your mortgage. And you've turned your veteran home loan benefit into an investment property with zero down. In a rental market as strong as Hampton Road, this is one of the smartest plays a military family can make. I've seen families here essentially live for free because their rental income covers the full mortgage payment. The families I see build real wealth here aren't the ones chasing perfect conditions. They're the ones who run the full numbers, understand all their options, and make a decision based on reality, not assumptions. What to do right now. So let's make this practical. Here's exactly what to do before you PCS. Number 1, pull your COE, log into the va.gov or call a VA savvy lender and have them pull it for you. Know your numbers before you start shopping. Number 2, don't assume you're out of entitlement. Even if you've used your VA loan before, you may have more available than you think. Verify it. Don't guess. Number 3, get pre-approved early. Understand your budget, your funding fee situation, and whether you qualify for an exemption before you're under any pressure to make a decision. Number 4, run the rent versus keep numbers on your current home. If you own a property at your last duty station, don't automatically sell. Sit down with the lender and see if partial entitlement makes holding it viable. Number 5, work with people who actually know VA loans. Not every agent and not every lender understands the nuances of entitlement, partial entitlement, or dual VA loans. Find the ones who do, because the difference is tens of thousands of dollars. That's the move. Whether you're reporting to Oceana, Norfolk, Dam Neck, or Little Creek, and you want to understand how to use your VA loan again with confidence, I want to help. I work with VA loan experts who know this benefit inside and out. So book a Zoom call with me using the link below. It takes 10 minutes and it'll give you clarity before you're even under contract. Not best case scenario numbers, your actual numbers. And if this video was helpful, subscribe. I post weekly breaking down Virginia Beach neighborhoods, PCS decisions, and everything military families need to know before making the move. Welcome home. This is real life Virginia Beach. And be sure to follow the next set of videos for all military veterans.